extra large.
Got it.
Okay. Are we ordering shirts?
It's a free deal.
Okay. Yeah.
Not sure what color. Shirt size 30.
All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Texarkana, Texas City Council. Today is Monday, August the 26th, 2024. We'd like to welcome everyone joining us in the audience this evening, as well as those who are joining us online. At this time, I'll call on our City Secretary, Ms. Jennifer Evans, to provide a roll call. Ms. Evans?
Ms. Hart? Here. Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Metter?
Here.
Ms. Matlock? Here. Mr. Thompson? Here. Ms. Page?
We do have a full council this evening, and our invocation and pledge will be led by Councilmember Mary Hart. If everyone will please stand.
Let us pray. Father God in heaven, we come before you this afternoon, praying, Lord God, that you give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding to make decisions that are pleasing and helpful to our city. We thank you, Father God, for every blessing that you give us. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. You may be seated. At this time, we'll move into our presentations this evening. First, we'll have the water service line inventory project updated to the council, and this will be given by representatives from Texarkana Water Utilities. So, gentlemen, welcome this evening. Look forward to listening to your remarks.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good to see y'all again. Getting where it's a regular thing, I think, for me to get up here and see you.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
but it's good to see y'all. We're here today to tell you a little bit about the water service line inventory project. And I brought with me Mr. David Waldrop, our environmental engineer, to do a short presentation and give you a little information.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Kenny. Evening, David.
Good evening. Good evening, council. Good evening, members. One quick question. To flip slides, use the mouse? He'll move them for me. Okay, good. Well, it's our water service line inventory project. We've been working on this project roughly 18 months. And some items are going to be coming due that will be more visible to the public in the near future. This water service line inventory is mandated by directives issued by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency on December 16th, 2021. TCEQ, Texas Department of Environmental Quality, was charged with overseeing the project statewide. And this inventory, water service line inventory, is a nationwide project. All water utilities are having to undergo these same things at the same time. What the project incorporates is a inventory of everything from the water main to the entrance of the building that the water is served through. We have to inventory what type of pipe and fittings are used between the water main and the building. I'm going to have to divert to my paper because contacts are tired. On October the 16th, our deadlines that are upcoming where we will become more public is the initial inventory must be completed and information submitted to TCEQ by October the 16th of 2024. The initial inventory must be made publicly accessible at that same date. November 16th of 2024, all customers shall be notified in writing as the status of their water service line. That is, we're going to let them know what their type of water service line is. Some of the answers may be unknown, which is an acceptable answer. TCEQ to be notified that the notifications have been sent. Notification to customers to be sent annually until all water service line materials have been identified. Each time occupancy changes, this notification shall be sent to the new occupant. So every time a business changes locations or a homeowner moves, each new occupant is going to be notified. Okay. Where we stand. Our initial inventory is approximately 90% complete. We've identified key areas that require further investigations, Areas requiring no additional investigations also have been identified. Water service line information has been incorporated into the GIS map and will be updated as new information and materials are determined. Project will successfully meet the upcoming 2024 deadline. Future, from the years 2025 to 2027. Between January 1, 2025 and October 1, 2027, all water service line inventory must be updated to include all types of water, what the pipes are. We must identify everything. Annual updates of the inventory shall be submitted to TCUQ. And we have to, there's new updates coming to the Consumer Confidence Report to include information for public access to the inventory. We will provide annual written notification to all customers on the status of their water service line. On October 1, 2027, the final service line inventory must be submitted, which includes the materials for all water service lines and lines from the mains to the property line. And we must develop a water service line replacement plan to upgrade all water service lines to current code requirements. The years 2027 to 2037, that plan must be implemented and completed. That's it for what's going on with that project. Do we have any questions?
Any questions from the council? So every service line has to be inventoried,
Yes,
and
sir.
then the customer must be notified as the type of service that they have either at their residence or at their business,
Are the residents or their business?
okay? And then on the replacement program, kind of explain the different types of piping that we currently have that might need to be replaced. Is it due to material or age or?
It's going to be due to material. Basically, this is a fallout from the Flint, Michigan episode. And so in our area, to the best of our knowledge, and everything, old plumbers that have been around for 50, 60 years have told us lead piping is not going to be a problem for us. What we will find, though, is some older homes still have galvanized piping. EPA says if it's galvanized piping, and unless you have the records to prove to me that it's never been a piece of lead pipe between the water source and that galvanized pipe, it must be replaced. So galvanized pipes will have to be replaced. The majority of our service lines for the past 30 plus years have been PVC. The only thing we can't tell is we know they're to code, we know, and we pretty much know for sure that they're PVC, but since we don't have it on a piece of paper someplace, all we know is if it's been installed per code, we have to inventory those and identify them. And basically for us, that's the two things is, well, galvanized pipe will be our biggest issue.
And so is the 2037 date, is that when property owners would have to have their pipes replaced by?
That's the deadline EPA has at the moment, is that by that date in 2037, all of this work has to be completed. They gave a 10-year time frame.
And so where does TWU's responsibility end and the customer's responsibility begin?
Right.
Can you go back to can you go back to the third slide? The dividing line presently is right at the meter. Everything from the meter back to the main is ours. Everything from the meter forward belongs to the customer. There is still some debate at the federal level. There is a group of EPA bigwigs that want to mandate that it's our responsibility all the way to the house.
Yeah.
That gets into some property rights issues.
It gets into some expense too.
Yes, sir.
And how do you verify from the meter to the house what kind of pipe is in the ground?
Very carefully.
You got to dig?
We can, as the rules stand now, if we can pothole on the customer's side, dig about a 6-inch hole, no more than probably 18 inches deep, and we see what's there, it's good. But to dig on the customer's side, we must have their permission. Yeah, and not all customers are going to be willing to allow us to do that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for David relating to this matter? We certainly thank you for taking the time to come this evening to brief us on this. This is a major project that will take a period of time to complete, and we thank you for bringing this information to us. And the only thing we ask is just to maybe periodically update us on how progress is being made, and we would appreciate that information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, David. Thank you, Kenny. We do have a second presentation this evening. It's not written out on your agenda, but we'd like to welcome Mr. Mark McHale, and he is the Vice President of Public Affairs and Community Relations for Ritter Communications. So, Mr. McHale, if you'll please come forward to the podium, and if you'll please state your name for the record, and we look forward to listening to your comments, and thank you for attending our meeting this evening.
No, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, thanks for the time. My name is Mark McHale, and as the Mayor said, I'm the Vice President of Public Affairs and Community Relations for Ritter Communications. This is my screensaver on my laptop. I thought it'd be nice for you to see our office. We're based in Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is northeastern Arkansas. What I like to tell people is that we've been in business for a few days. We were started in 1906 in Mark Tree. Ernest Ritter, he and his family were the owners of the general store. Their 2 daughters went to college in Memphis, and they wanted to stay connected to them. So we had this idea, well, why don't I just run some telephone lines from Mark Tree to Memphis? And by George, in 1906, a little local telephone company was begun. So almost 120 years ago, Ritter Communications was started. He diversified, went into ag, oil and gas, and things of that nature. But they've always been kind of future and technology forward. And what we're talking about today is fiber broadband service. From a business perspective, we've been in Texarkana since 2018, 2019. But we're going to introduce what we call our Right Fiber, which is the residential home service, high-speed internet service. Not only has that been super important going into and coming out of COVID, but it really is a real need for families and telehealth and work from home and things of that nature. And we've been engaged in almost $500 million expansion over the last 3 years, a few more years to go with that. Texarkana has been a part of that, but we're really going to kind of accelerate that investment in Texarkana. If we can go to the next slide. Again, like I said, we started in 1906. There are 4 main kind of pillars, if you will. The Ritter name, it not only has been a business since 1906, it's about giving back to the community, investing in the community, and we will be kind of carrying on that tradition as we come here. We've been doing fiber work on the business enterprise and at the college and healthcare space for a little over 20 years, so again, somewhat future and technology forward. What we're talking about is 100% fiber service, not only for the business customers, but for residential customers as well here. We're the largest private Mid-South broadband provider in the Mid-South, Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Missouri. We are looking by the end of this year to add 3 more states to that roster, so growth is good. We're looking at Oklahoma, northern Louisiana, and western Kentucky. So we're pleased to bring that service here to Texarkana. We can go to the next slide. And these are the 4 areas: the residential services, again called Right Fiber, business and enterprise, which we've been doing for quite some time and offering that business service here, both on the Texas and Arkansas side of Texarkana since 2019. Cloud services, wholesale, partners with larger companies. We've got a pretty expansive, not only regional network, but also national reach from an internet perspective. And again, a couple updates for the numbers. Expanding and extending, which is good. We're almost up against 60,000 customers as we're about to wind down 2024. A lot of fiber miles, a combination of buried and aerial on poles, and a lot of partnerships from a wholesale perspective and cell towers. And it's always great to talk about growth. It's always great to talk about success. But some of the awards that I wanted to highlight a little bit, and probably one of the most important ones was we were selected as Business of the Year for Arkansas in 2022. Very proud of that. We consistently win Best Places to Work. As far as being a regional fiber provider, we've got a number of good tips of the caps, not only being good for the community, but good for business. So we're very, very proud of that. So I wanted to share a couple of those with you tonight. And then what started in the early 1900s is kind of it's a philosophy as well as a promise called Right by You. And it's really kind of a two-edged communication. We want to be right by you locally. We want to be a part of that community, ingrained in the community, not just providing services, but being a part of that fabric. And then just treating customers, being right by them. When you build fiber networks, it's not when you're going to hit a water line. I don't hope the public works folks aren't in here, but it's when, as Mr. Mayor and members of the council probably know, some places haven't had infrastructure, new infrastructure in 20, 30, 40 years. And if Janie or Jimmy was holding that book for 40 years and just retired 6 months ago, nobody knows, or no one has a really good idea where those lines are. So it's got to be a partnership. That's why we want to have a chance and appreciate the opportunity from David to introduce ourselves a little bit, because that is going to happen. It's not anyone who says they're not going to hit lines and make some mistakes along the way. But that Right by You promise is going to be when that happens, not if, we will make it right. I just want to kind of share that from a philosophy standpoint. What I also thought might be helpful is just a little bit of background on the investment. We're looking to build and provide that right fiber, that home high-speed internet service for the home. We're going to look to build upwards. The term in the industry is called homes passed. As you build the network and you run down streets and things of that nature, the homes passed is kind of an industry term. But we're going to look to bring 4,000 homes online, starting kind of the fall of this year into the end of 2025. And don't tell our friends, in our home state, but more than half will be here on the Texas side. But we're making a significant investment in Texarkana. We've kind of been there from a business perspective in that 2018, 2019, but our build plans are aggressive in the coming 18 months. So I wanted to share that with you. And what that looks like is not only have we seen success on that enterprise and the business side, we see that kind of growth and opportunity on the residential side. So we're going to make that investment. And we think that's an important element from a city standpoint to help Texarkana be a gig city. What does a gig city mean? High-speed internet, it's not for those that are well-to-do, it's for everyone. So we're offering speeds of 1 gig, 2 gig, 5 gig speeds. So the more devices, home learning, telehealth, the different ways to use fiber broadband, the higher the speeds, the better the experience. So that's what we'll be bringing over the next 18 months. We also have straightforward pricing. If 1 gig is $80 a month, the 5 gig, which is the fastest available in the industry, is $120 a month. I won't go into all the sales stuff, but there's a no surprises pricing there. So it's not like you get prorated and you're charged for the equipment. The equipment and all those things come with it. We think, we heard 4 years ago from people ahead of the pandemic what they didn't like. So we're offering a service with taking some of those irritating pricing confusion pieces out of it. And we look to start that phase again in the fall of this year. We're excited about Texarkana. I'm excited for the opportunity to have a few minutes to speak with you tonight. I thank you for the time. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. But again, just thanks for the opportunity to share a little bit about Ritter and Right Fiber.
Any questions from the council in reference to the presentation? I don't want to get into, you may have some confidential information that you cannot release, but when you're moving into the residential sector within the city, say for example on the Texas side, are there particular areas of the city that you're going to be concentrating on, or is it just going to be kind of widespread, or?
I'm not an engineer. I don't say I'll play one on TV, but the short answer is fairly widespread, which is the good news. What we will also do, particularly of value to the council and yourself, Mr. Mayor, is before obviously permitting has to be done before anything, but as we're about to go into communities, we're going to have communications and outreach well ahead of when trucks may start rolling in, because we know nothing confuses or potentially irritates city leaders when someone rolls into town unannounced. So just to let you know, there will be months in advance before those things happen. There'll be communications with your residents, so they'll know, not only from an information standpoint to eliminate the confusion why somebody down on 5th and Main, but also if there's a level of interest that they know it's coming, they could get informed, and we could partner with them. But that's probably the biggest early key to success, is to partner with you and David and the team. And that's a commitment we'll absolutely keep with you guys as we come into the market.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Davis?
What percentage of the work that y'all will be doing will go to residential areas that currently do not have what's considered high-speed internet?
Actually, a very high percentage. Like from a business standpoint, that's where you want to go. Even in some of these bigger cities, you don't want to kind of roll into town with 4 or 5 other competitors. So when there's not only underserved but unserved, that is absolutely a focus of where we're going to start building our network out, because not only does it help us from a business perspective, but it helps those residents who really need it. So there's kind of a 2-win by taking the engineering design by that approach.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, thank you again for the time.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Appreciate your time this evening. Appreciate your being here. All right. This time, move along to Mayor's remarks and items of community interest. Just remind everyone, our council meetings for the month of September will be on Monday, September the 9th and Monday, September the 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. At this time, we'll move along to our open forum, comments from the public. If there's anyone who would like to address the council this evening, you're welcome to do so. You will have up to 5 minutes to speak on any subject or topic matter. If you are here this evening to speak on behalf of a public hearing item, then I'll ask that you please wait until we get to that particular item. Be more than happy to listen to your comments during that time. Ms. Evans, did we have any sheets filled out? Okay, so does anyone want to address the council this evening? Okay, that said, we'll move along to our appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Do we have any appointments to be made this evening by the council?
Yes, Mayor. Excuse me.
Page?
I have a reappointment for the Historic Landmark Preservation Committee, Alice Coleman.
Okay, all right. All right. Are there any others this evening?
I have a reappointment,
Ms. Matlock?
Carolyn Moore to the Building and Standards Committee.
Okay, all right. Any others? Okay, so we have two.
Excuse me, what was the name, Ms. Matlock?
Carolyn Moore.
Carolyn Moore, thank you.
All right. Any others? Okay, is there a motion for approval of those names that have been nominated?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. I want to thank those citizens for their support to our community. At this time, move along to items for consideration. We'll move along to our consent items. We do have 3 items this evening. Item 1 is to consider approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the City Council held on August the 12th, 2024 at 4 p.m. Excuse me, that should be 6 p.m. there. With the company that we use, some of these times got transfigured, so that should be 6 p.m. Ordinance number 2024-097, acknowledging receipt of a grant in the amount of $7,500 from the AKC Reunite organization to purchase a canine dog, and amending budgeted revenue and expenditures in the general fund, Fund 101, for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 24, to include the grant. Item number 3, resolution number 2024-102, authorizing the city manager to execute a one-time agreement with MTG Engineers and Surveyors Incorporated of Texarkana, Texas, in the amount not to exceed $165,000 with funds budgeted from the 2022 bond fund, Fund 425, to supply the design, surveying, and drawings for the Waco Street reconstruction project. Unless a council member would like to pull one or more items for further consideration, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as it has been presented. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart, a second by Councilmember Page. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The consent agenda has been approved. We'll now move along to first briefings. We do have 4 items this evening under the category of first briefings. Item 1 is ordinance number 2024-098, amending PD-99-14 for site plan approval on Lot 6, Block 1, Brookwood Acres, located at 210 and 212 Cheyenne Place. Jason Wynn, owner, and Kayla Wood, MTG Engineers and Surveyors Agent. Our schedule on these first briefing items, we will have public hearings scheduled for our next meeting on September the 9th, and then also council consideration at that same time. We'll have Michelle Daniel from our city staff to brief the council on the first 3 items this evening. So good evening, Michelle. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, Council. So this is a request for site plan approval at 2010-2012 Cheyenne Place. The current zoning is 2-family 2, and the property is currently vacant. The proposed use is a duplex. The future land use map has designated this property as neighborhood residential. The adjacent zoning is planned development 2-family 2 to the west, south, and east, and 2-family 2 to the north. The adjacent land use is duplexes to the west, south, east, and north. The site plan consists of the construction of a 2,500 square foot building. The access driveway will be off Cheyenne Place. There will be 4 parking spaces, and the development must meet the drainage and all other city ordinances. City staff and planning and zoning do recommend for approval of the site plan with these stipulations, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Michelle on this item? Okay, move along to item number 2, ordinance number 2024-099, amending PD-79-6 for site plan approval on an approximate 5.643 acre tract of land, being tracts 71A and 72, Thomas Price Headright Survey A-466, located at 524 Sowell Lane. Jason Simmons, representative of the West Side Church of Christ, owner, and David Williams, MTG Engineers and Surveyors Agent. Michelle?
Good evening again. So this is a request for site plan approval at 524 Sowell Lane. The current zoning is Plan Development Office. The property is a church parking lot, and the proposed use is an addition to the church. The future land use map designates this property as regional commercial. The adjacent zoning is commercial to the north, single-family 2 to the south and east, and Loop 369 to the west. The adjacent land use is an auto body shop to the north, a church to the south, TxDOT to the east and the south, and Loop 369 to the west. The site plan consists of the construction of an 8,224 square foot building. The access driveway will be off of Sowell Lane, and there will be 104 parking spots. The development must meet the drainage and all other city ordinances. Staff and planning and zoning do recommend for approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
Questions on this item? Okay. Item number 3 is ordinance number 2024-100, granting a specific use permit for one additional use of tattooing on lots 7 and 8, block 108, City Triggs Edition, located at 1002 Wood Street. Brian Calloway, owner, Joaquin Hernandez, agent. Michelle?
So this is a request for a specific use permit at 1002 Wood Street. The property is zoned neighborhood service. The future land use map has designated this property as a downtown district. The adjacent zoning is commercial to the north and east and office to the south and west. The adjacent land usage is a business to the north, east, and west, and a church to the south. Staff does recommend for approval of this request, and planning and zoning does also, with the following stipulations: that the owner or any employee performing tattooing procedures be currently licensed by the state and meet all state laws and health regulations. The city has the right to revoke the specific use permit if any complaints or violations of state laws are found valid. If the use ever ceases at this location, the city may revoke the specific use permit. The sale of tobacco products or drug paraphernalia is prohibited, and any remodeling of the current building must meet all city codes. Also, there will be no painting on the windows or the building with advertisement or graphic art. And again, city staff and planning and zoning do recommend for approval of this request, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Michelle on this item? All right, we'll now move along. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate
Thank you.
your briefing us on those items this evening. Item number 4 is resolution number 2024-101, authorizing continuation of applying for the fiscal year 2024 water production rate of $1.2606 per 1,000 gallons to the fiscal year 2025 water supply contract billing for all member entities with joint ownership interest in the Highway 82 water transmission line, with the funds accumulated in excess of the calculated fiscal year 2025 water production cost of $1.0895 per 1,000 gallons deposited in an interest-bearing account dedicated to fund the upcoming project to relocate a portion of the jointly owned Highway 82 water transmission line. And our city manager, Dr. David Orr, is going to brief the council on this item. Good evening, David.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as a member of Riverbend, we have an upcoming project next year to move the water transmission line on Highway 82, and that's from DeKalb to the Red River County line. So as part of this project, it's estimated that it will cost between $6 to $7.5 million. So the projected water rate is going down this year in FY25, proposed to $1.08 per 1,000 gallons from the current rate of $1.26 per 1,000 gallons. The proposal is to keep the rate the same and use the 1-year difference generated of approximately $730,000 to pay for a portion of the debt to relocate the line. At a meeting on August 12th, all original member entities with Riverbend in attendance were in favor of the proposal and agreed to take it back to their respective city councils for consideration. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions for Dr. Orr on this item? It's going to be a very large project. As you know, this was not recently, but a while back, the line was moved from New Boston to DeKalb along Highway 82. And so this is a further continuation of that roadway to provide some staggered passing lanes along Highway 82. So any other comments or questions? Okay. All right, we'll now move along to our public hearings. Item number 1 is resolution number 2024-077, updating the citizens petition policy, focusing on petition requirements to address matters currently before the City Council for consideration at an upcoming meeting. You will note on your particular printout, Council, it does say August the 25th. The agenda that was posted online does have the correct dates on there. We just had to have the company that we partner with in California to post this. And so it threw the dates off and some times off a little bit, but the agenda that was posted on the website officially last week does have all the correct information. Correct, Ms. Evans?
The agenda posted online has the incorrect dates.
Oh, does it?
Yes, but the agenda posted outside for the public
Yes.
has the correct dates.
Okay.
So that was legally posted and it was correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure everything was legally posted. So, okay, thank you for clarification on that. Okay, we'll move along to our public hearings. Item 1, resolution number 2024-077, updating the citizens petition policy, focusing on petition requirements to address matters currently before the City Council for consideration at an upcoming meeting. At this time, we'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, if you'll please come forward and state your name for the record. Not seeing anyone coming forward at this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Page. We have a second by Councilmember Davis. This item pertains to a resolution, so there is not a caption. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes unanimously. Item number 2, resolution number 2024-089, adopting revisions to the Employee Policy Manual for an effective date of October the 1st, 2024. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Davis. We have a second by Councilmember Hart. Once again, this is a resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes. Item number 3, resolution number 2024-091, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Johnson Controls Incorporated of Fort Worth, Texas, to install an advanced metering infrastructure system with a leak detection monitoring system in combination with satellite-based leak detection in an amount not to exceed $18,169,793, with the Texas portion not to exceed $10,231,625, with funds available in the 2023 Bond Construction Fund. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Hart and a second by Councilmember Page. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Resolution passes. Item number 4 relates to ordinance number 2024-092, amending the budget estimate of the revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024, and adopting the budget and appropriating resources for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025. The law requires action to be taken after the public hearing. Recommendation will be to postpone until the September 9th meeting. So I'm going to open it up for the public hearing, and then I will close the public hearing, and then I will need the council to make a motion for postponement until our next meeting. So we'll get a motion and a second on that, and then we'll vote on that. So at this time, I declare the public hearing open on ordinance number 2024-092. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward. At this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for postponement? We have a motion by Councilmember Matlock. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. Ms. Evans, do you need to read the caption on this one? It's a motion for postponement, so I would think not. Okay. All right. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. All right. This item will be postponed. Item number 5, resolution number 2024-096, approving the fiscal year 2025 master fee list, including reauthorization of building permit fees. At this time, I declare the public hearing open on this item. If anyone would like to address the council, please come forward.
Mayor, I'd like to give a couple of updates if you don't mind.
Sure, Kristen, thank you.
Good evening. I just wanted to let you know of a few fees that we added to the list since our last meeting, and I just wanted to be transparent about those. We added a total of 5 new fees for the Swanger complex, the baseball complex. These include a usage fee of $250 per day, a field rental fee of $150 per field per day, a trash service fee of $250. That is an optional fee. A cleaning of dugouts and facilities, which is $300 per occurrence, and a practice slot rental of $50 per 1.5 hours. And so I just wanted to make you aware that those had been added.
So if there's, say, a planned tournament or something like that at this location, would these fees apply or not?
I'm gonna let Ross come up and answer that more specifically.
Ross Cowling will be coming forward to answer that question. Good evening, Ross.
Hey, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Yes, this is set up for our tournament fee structure. We did a lot of research around the region of, what prices would meet our new complex and best fit that. And so all these are set up. Again, she mentioned some optional fees, with trash. We give them the opportunity to clean the place up. If not, then we assess a fee to it. And then the $150 per field, per day is a pretty standard rate for newer complexes.
Okay, all right. Any questions for Ross on this item? Okay, all right. Thank you for the update. Appreciate it. Kristen, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. So once again, this time I'll open the public hearing for resolution 2024-096. If there's anyone who would like to address the council, please come forward. Excuse me, at this time, I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilmember Page. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Davis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The resolution passes. This concludes our public hearings portion of the agenda. We'll now move along to the city manager's report. Dr. Orr?
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Just a few updates to pass along to you tonight. First off, a sales tax update. So sales tax receipts for the month of August, that's June sales, total a little under $2 million. That's a decrease of 2.22% compared to the same month in the prior year. However, if you exclude the February adjustments that we talked about earlier this year, our fiscal date collections would have totaled $16.5 million, and that's a little over a 1% increase overall year to date. Also want to give you an update on our fire department and our TIFMAS deployments. So TIFMAS is Texas Interstate Fire Mutual Aid System, and we've had multiple Texarkana, Texas teams deployed to Burke Burnett, that's north Wichita Falls, since August 1st. They're part of the TIFMAS Strike Team 183. Over the past week, we've had over 60 wildfires that have burned more than 10,000 acres in Texas. TIFMAS, again, is the Texas Interstate Fire Mutual Aid System, which is a collaboration of fire departments across the state. We're a member of the East Texas branch, which includes Paris to Beaumont, and TIFMAS deployments are fully covered financially and reimbursable to the city. We also just pray for their safety while they're there and their return safe as well. Also, just an update on the Texarkana Youth Advisory Council. Applications are open this week and accepting high school students, grades 10 through 12, through September 6th. So students are encouraged to visit our website or to see their high school counselors. Each of the high schools on the Texas side all have this information. You also have a flyer at your desk with information on how to register, so please encourage high school students that you may know or have acquaintance with in your district to register for our youth council. And finally, just to save the date, our Parks Master Plan public meetings are scheduled later this fall. Our first one will be Wednesday, September 4th, followed by Thursday, December 5th, and then Tuesday, February 11th. All meetings will take place at 6:30 p.m. at Texarkana, Texas Convention Center. And join us as we update our Parks Master Plan and talk about the future growth and capital projects within the parks. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for David? All right, thanks, David. Appreciate that report. We'll now move along to administrative comments. Any comments from the council this evening? Okay. Any final comments from city staff?
No further comments.
Okay, all right, very good. So unless there's further business to be brought before the council, at this time I entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Matlock and a second by Councilmember Hart. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are adjourned. Thank you all very much for being here. Hope you have a great evening.